Hello, this video will help you draw a few of the shapes on the discs that have a tendency of showing some very unique and surprising patterns as you move through the ratios of blinks to spins. The first one, actually, let me show you how you make these. Of course, we could just take the disc and trace around it. But for a few of these drawings, it's important to know exactly where the center is. And so I have been using a compass, and the diameter of a CD, a blank CD, is 120 millimeters. And so what I've been doing is setting a compass to 60 millimeters or 6 centimeters, and using that as my circle radius. And so I'll move the compass to one side of the paper so that I can get two on one sheet. And then by grabbing the top of the compass and gently moving my compass around, keeping a firm press on the center needle to keep it from slipping, I'll draw my 60 millimeter radius circle. Now we are left with a hole there that I'll mark a little more darkly so that we can see its exact center. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to take half of that radius. So half of a 60 millimeter or 6 centimeter radius is 30 millimeters. So I'm going to bring my compass in to 30 millimeters or 3 centimeters. So that is a radius exactly half of what we just drew. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to draw a diameter line for our circle, which we'll use here in a minute. So I'm going to use a ruler and I'm going to mark the diameter. Next, I'm going to take the compass. Actually, next I'm going to take my ruler and measuring from the center of the circle, I'm going to measure out. Actually, this would be easy. Take the compass and, since it's already at 30, make an arc there and an arc here. So that bisects the radius. And then I'm going to take the compass and I'm going to put my pointy end on the spot where the arc crossed the diameter, and I'm going to make a semicircle on this side, but only half of it. Next, I'm going to go to the other side where my arc crossed the diameter, and I'm going to make a semicircle, but on the other side of the diameter to look like this. Now what this has done is given us a symmetrical figure that looks a lot like the structure of a yin yang. And so with darker markers, you can trace this line and then begin to add your own designs. Now we've already marked the center of those smaller circles, and what you can do at this point is narrow your compass way down, and this one doesn't necessarily have to be measured, but you can mark that and then make the inner circles of the yin and yang, which allows for very interesting effects to happen as we progress through the different ratios. So I'm going to make a circle there, and I'm going to make another one on this side. Try not to let your compass slip. And of course, These are just guides. They're not meant to be followed exactly, but you can just take these and now color this in however you want. You can turn these circles into triangles. You can turn them into squares. You can turn them into abstract shapes. But if you tend to use these opposing this pattern that sets you up for having opposing or contrasting colors, later we get some very interesting geometry that happens when you flash the strobe at different rates. So feel free to color it in with some nice bright colored markers, following the lines in general, and maybe even following some of the Zentangle kinds of procedures of using patterns, small repetitive steps to create a really interesting design.